So, good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Mahesh Velusamy here, and thank you, everyone, and I thank you all, and thank you, Miss Gayatri, for joining me this evening. And today we will be taking the course Introduction on Next Generation Sequencing, and it will be presented by Miss Gayatri Venugopalan. She is a graduate, and also she is doing her MTech degree in bioinformatics. So before moving on to the main slide, I would like to give some important notes for all the participants. Gayatri, can you move to the next slide? So I would like to emphasize these points for all the participants. So first of all, kindly switch off your webcam for better buffering, and you will be always in mute mode. So if you have any questions, you could drop your questions either via chat box or you could use the raise hand option. Then whenever you ask question, kindly use your original name for any type of discussion. And the most important request, try your best not to leave the meeting before it ends because it will give good motivation for the presenter. And after the talk, please don't forget to give your feedbacks, and that will help us to improve the lectures in for this presentation. So Gayatri, so maybe you can start your lecture now.
Yeah, thank you.
All the best.
Yeah, thank you. Fine. Hello everyone, I'm Gayatri. I did my BTech in Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, and now I did my MTech in Shastra University as MTech Bioinformatics. Now I am here to present the topic and introduction of next generation sequencing. Are you hear my voice clearly?
Yeah, I think everyone is able to hear your voice. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. First, start with the basics with genetics and genomics. Genetics is the study of individual genes in the genome. Genomics is the studies used to know about all the genes in the
So,
genomes.
Gayatri, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you. So, before
Yeah.
starting the slide, and give them like some introduction, like what will they benefit and what is the overall idea that you are going to cover in this
Yeah.
presentation.
Okay. In this presentation, I covered the little bit concepts of SMRT, single molecular real-time sequencing, and then this is the emerging sequencing after next generation sequencing. Then DNA sequencing techniques like Sanger sequencing, Max and Gilbert, capillary electrophoresis, and then next generation sequencing like Illumina, Pyro sequencing, Ion Torrent, and ABI Solid. Then comparison of all the platforms which is used for our sequencing the reads. This is my uh, introduction part of my slides.
Okay,
Uh,
so you will be covering completely basics,
yeah,
and you are going to take it as a two sessions. So this session and then second session completely it's going to be a theory, right?
yeah, fully
Okay.
theory.
Okay.
In this session, we complete only about the workflow of all the sequencing.
Okay.
Next session, I will carry the analysis part and the data formats of all the sequence methods.
Okay. 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 Thank you. So go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Genomics involves the sequencing and analysis of a genome through high throughput DNA sequencing, and it is also used to assemble and analyze the functions of a sequence and to identify the genome variations. Next, we move to the history of DNA sequencing. We all know about first we can get the DNA double standard helix in 1953. From the double standard DNA, we move through the sequencing in 1977 by two persons, one with the Maxim Gilbert and the Frederick Sanger sequencing. Then, from this basis, they get through the Human Genome Project in 1990. The Human Genome Project starts as 1990 and end up with 2003. Human Genome Projects covers with Sanger sequencing. Now I move to the generation of the sequencing. Here there is a three sequencing generation: first generation sequencing, second generation, and third generation. In first generation sequencing is a DNA sequencing. Second generation is NGS or a massive parallel or deep sequencing method. Third generation is single molecule sequencing. I already told it is SMRT. That is the new era of sequencing. In first generation sequencing, DNA sequencing involves Sanger, dideoxy method and Maxim Gilbert capillary electrophoresis, and then they involved in automatic sequencer. In second generation sequencing, NGS, Illumina, also known as Alexa technology, then ABI, then pyro sequencing. It will involve the capillary sequences because here we end up with the Human Genome Project at 2003. The third generation sequencing is single molecule sequencing. I little bit give the glance of SMRT. Here we can get the isolate from the whole DNA or RNA from any plants or human anything. The SMRT library is produced along with the adapters, primers, and DNA polymerase. In SMRT, there is the well with the tiny hole that is called as ZMW. It is a zero mode waveguide. In that waveguide, we add the single DNA which contains the adapter, primer, and DNA polymerase, which is in the only a single DNA. We can drop it into the ZMW cell. Then we add the phospholinked DNTPs, that is nucleotide, 4 nucleotides, one by one. First, we can add 80 adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine with the different color fluorophore. The intensity of the color observed, then we get the illuminate to below from the ZMW, then we get the wavelength and the color intensity. What is the main advantages of SMRT is the multiplex complexity, and we get the long reads in a faster cycle. When compared with the NGS, SMRT is very useful because it will give the 99% accuracy with hi-fi reads. Next, I move on to Human Genome Project. Why now Human Genome Project to determine the sequence of human genome? It's initiated in 1990 with the accuracy of 99%. They sequence with the accuracy of 99.9. It is filled with Sanger sequencing. First, they think to get the protein basis, we can get the nucleotide, but the amino acid sequence of the protein does not tell the exact nucleotide of the sequence of a gene because the genetic code is redundant. For example, leucine have 7 to 8 types of 3-letter code. We cannot exactly know the position of each nucleotide in the sequence. So Frederick Sanger moved to the DNA sequencing method. It is also known as Sanger sequencing method or dideoxy sequencing method. It is used to sequence the DNA. It is of 4 separate reaction to get the sequence information about each of the nucleotide. Because we have four tubes, we add each of the dideoxy nucleotide into it, so we get the four different nucleotide tubes. The primary reaction contains 4 parts, which is template DNA with double standard DNA. Second one is a primer. Third is a DNA polymerase, and fourth one is the NTP. That is adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. Each tube have these 4 primary component. Each of the DNTPs are labeled with radioactive colored. Next, we move the workflow. I take the first tube which contains the DTATP, that is adenine. So here I mentioned is the which this tube contains double stranded DNA, primer and DNA polymerase, and then all DNTPs and only DTNTP. There is a difference between DNTP and DTNTP. The major difference is 3-OH present in DNTPs. In DTNTPs, there is an absence of hydroxyl group in 3' end of the sugar. So that the double-stranded DNA is cleaved or denatured at the higher temperature. Using primer, DNA polymerase and the primer, it will join to the template DNA, and the DNTPs join with the template DNA by DNA polymerase. If the DTNTPs, that is adenine, binds in the template, it doesn't have DTATP doesn't have 3-OH. So next adenine or a guanine, it will bind with the DTATP. It doesn't form phosphodiester bond. So it will cleave. There is no formation of a sequence for an remaining template DNA. So it will cleave. We can get the different type length of DNA, different types of sequence, because the phosphodiester, because the DNTPs is formed, there is no formation. We can get few ATPs are bind with that. This is happened in all the tubes, same as in DCTP or ATP or GTP. The sequence can be get by gel electrophoresis, the movement of the molecules from negative to positive. We can get the bands according to the nucleotide. If A, there is only the band which is present at the end of A. If C, there is only C. If T, it is T. We can get the sequence from the below. First sequence is a T. Sequence first is T, second one is G, third one is T, the fourth one is A, so that we can get this whole sequence from below to above. Because lower one has a molecular weight very low, so we can get the sequence from below to above. The drawbacks of Sanger sequencing is a labor intensive. Then we can collect only the 500 bases of a sequence in a gel. It takes 1 hour, and we are able to expose to X-ray film. Then automated DNA sequencing, it is similar to the Sanger sequencing. There is only main difference between Sanger sequencing and automated sequencing is the DNTPs are labeled with a radioactive method. Here the DNTPs are coded with only the fluorescent dye. Here we get only dyes or with the colored, not it is radioactive. It can do with 4 different tubes or single tube. Same as the Sanger sequencing, we get the sequence. Same as it will be. Then capillary electrophoresis, it is different from Sanger sequencing. It involves a cyclic sequencing. Its drawback is to work with a small amount of template. We cannot do in large length of a DNA. But it increases the sequence capacity to improve the separation methods. This is a simple schematic diagram of capillary electrophoresis. This is anode to cathode. We have a capillary tubing. The solution which have template DNA, primer, DNTPs and DATPs or flow from here to here. The laser beam passes through a capillary tubing. This is the detector. It detects the sequence. It detects the nucleotide with the colored one. If here we see the peak, which this sequence is GCAT. If the sequence is too high, you can get it is double C, is GGCAT. Okay. Next is Maxim Gilbert sequencing. The last three sequencing, that is Sanger sequencing, automated sequencing, and capillary sequencing, comes under enzymatic chain termination method. But Maxim Gilbert sequencing is comes under chemical cleavage because we add 4 to 5 chemicals to get the sequence. For each reaction, we add each acids or salts. Um, Here we take the sample DNA. We first take the double stranded DNA and cleave the single stranded DNA. Then we add the radioactive 32P at the 5' end of the phosphate. Then cleavage the specific nucleotide using the chemical treatment. That is for reaction, G reaction. This is A plus G reaction. This is T plus G reaction. This is C reaction. Here I mentioned the chemicals or chemicals. G reaction, which is used dimethylation, dimethyl sulfate. It happens a methylation in the guanine. That is the difference in the polynucleotide chain. The G is methylated. So it is different from other G's. Other G's, it is very different. Then A plus G is the reaction is done with the formic acid. It acts on purine nucleotide. It breaks the bond between the purine and it gets the nucleotide into deoxy formation. The space that will forms as an apurine site. Then it is T plus C reaction. Here it is hydrazine is involved. In hydrazine, we get hydrolyzed the C plus T nucleotide. Then C reaction, we add hydrazine plus sodium chloride. It inhibits the reaction of thymine, which binds with the C. So it is of C reaction. So the cleavage react if the polynucleotide chain, all the nucleotides are different. Different means if G is modified, in this case G is modified into methylated. Here there is no link between A and C. Here also that's like in C reaction, it breaks the ring of cytosine. So the cleavage reaction is happened by piperidine. If we add the piperidine in the polynucleotide chain, it breaks the different different nucleotide other than the normal nucleotide. We can get the sequence like that. This is happens in a single tube. This is happened in the single tube, and 4 single tubes it will be happened. We can put the sequence in the gel electrophoresis. We can get the bands like that. As in Sanger sequencing, we get the nucleotide from below. First it is T reaction with some T plus C. It is only if it is G, if it is A plus G, if it is T plus C, if it is C. If it is C, this band is C, there is another band in here also. Then you confirm it is C. If it is only here, we confirm it as A. You can see here, there is G reaction and A plus G reaction. We have two bands. So here this is G, not A. If it is only A, there is no bond formation in G. So this third base is G. Okay. Any doubts here?
So guys, let us know if you have any questions so far.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Now I move on to the genome sequencing. Last 4 sequencing is done with DNA sequencing. Now I move on to the genome sequencing. Genome sequencing has 3 phases. One is preliminary sequencing, second one is finishing, and third one is annotating. Genome sequencing is nothing but the longer sequence is divided into the smaller fragments or the short reads and again reassembled to give the overall sequences. It can be done by 2 methods. One is chromosome walking and shotgun sequencing. In chromosome walking, we can identify the genes and cut the genes and design the primer, and we use the PCR. Then we get the lot of bands with the primer and the reverse and forward band. In shotgun sequencing, it is the complex process. We can get the random fragments. First, here there is the large DNA molecule. It can be broken randomly, not with specific restriction enzyme. We can do with any of the restriction enzyme, because we can cut it in the small segments only, not with the exact insert. Then we cut it. These are the small reads, and we can sequence it again. Then we get the overlapping region. It will give the assembled sequence. There is two shotgun sequencing. I differentiate two shotgun sequencing: hierarchical shotgun sequencing and the whole genome shotgun sequencing.
Miss Gayatri, sorry to interrupt you. Can you
Yeah.
tell us what is chromosome walk? Somebody has asked the question, chromosome walking.
Yeah. Yeah. If you are okay, I explained with this DNA, but I didn't give the chromosome walking. This is the DNA, Ashumitas DNA. It has several number of genes. You can assume at A, B, C, D, and all. You cut the fragments into different pieces. Here we have different genes, A, B, C, D, and all gene. Take the PCR, do the PCR, take any one of the gene and put it in the PCR plate. Design the primer, because we know the sequence. You know the sequence, right? 1 second. Yeah, you know my paint box. Hello.
Yeah. 1 second.
Hello.
So can you see the panel in the bottom? So
No.
there,
No.
others, if you look at the side left panel, I mean the left panel, if you see the ask to annotate, just click the ask to annotate.
Expand the planner to show video that.
No, like if you see in the left panel, you will have zoom and minus, zoom in, zoom out, and you will also have the annotate.
No, I'm not seeing that.
Okay. So,
You didn't see my paint window?
no. Maybe you
Okay.
can minimize this slide.
Okay, fine. Wait a second.
Okay.
Mm.
Or else we can keep this question after the lecture.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay. I explained it later.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you see my slide?
Yes, we are able to see your slides.
Yeah, okay, fine. I cleared it later, or next conversation. I put the slide and I will explain.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I want to differentiate the hierarchical shotgun sequencing and whole genome sequencing. The major difference between hierarchical shotgun and the whole genome is the back library. We have genomic DNA, then this is a longer DNA. We cut the DNA into the shorter reads and get into cloned with the back library. Um, Create the quantic map. We have the overlaps we can see in the slide. We have overlap, then we get generated the finished sequence. In whole genome sequencing, we didn't use the back vector because it is most useful for a prokaryotic genome, because back vector is used to cut the sequence into short reads than back vector because the genomic DNA is so big. Here, this whole genome shotgun is used for prokaryotic genome, so we didn't use the back library. Thus, eliminate the back library step for this approach. We get the sequence as the hierarchical genome sequence. Next, how we get the sequencing from DNA to the genome. Um, in Sanger sequencing, we take a single DNA or a DNA sequence DNA, then we do the primer and DNA polymerase, and we get the radioactive DNTPs or DTTPs. We get the sequence. Here we take the whole genome, we cut it into small piece, and we realign. Then we get the sequence. So from the DNA, we moved to the genomes. Here, next generation sequencing and introduction. Next generation sequencing is also known as massive parallel sequencing or deep sequencing. It describes the DNA sequencing technologies to genomic researcher to reanalyze the sequence. We can get the entire human genome within a single day with NGS. It is ultra high throughput and it has very scalable and speed. It is used to get the mutation or metagenomics or genetic variation. Few of the platforms used for NGS is Illumina sequencing, Roche 544 and Iron Torrent. Here we have workflow of next generation sequencing. There is three workflow in NGS. One is library preparation, another is clonal amplification, another one is the cyclic array sequencing. I can explain each platform with each clonal amplification and the cyclic array sequencing. I give the overall sequence. First, we take the DNA and then fragment it, and we add the adapters. Then we have two clonal amplification, one with a bridge PCR and another with the emulsion PCR. Why it is called as bridge PCR? This is the flow cell. We have the adapters. We add the DNA. We can form. It will form the bridge-like structure. It is called as bridge PCR. Here, why it is called as emulsion PCR? We have beads and we add the DNA with the beads. It will give like the circle-like structure. So it is called as emulsion PCR. Emulsion PCR will ended up in three process: pyrosequencing, sequence by ligation, and ion semitorrent sequencing. Bridge PCR is done with the sequence by synthesis. This is for bridge PCR. This is the flow cell. It contains the gap. It contains lot of adapters inside the each gap between the glass slides. Yeah. The advantages of next generation sequencing from Sanger sequencing. Sanger sequencing, both have DNA fragmentation. In vivo, we didn't do the transformation or clonal picking. Nothing else happened in the next generation sequencing. Here we add the adapters only. Second one is on generation of polyarray based sequencing. Array based sequencing, we have high degree of Parallelization, here we done with the single or maybe 10 to 50 base pairs. Now we have we have polyarrays. This is a sequence process in detail of NGS. First is library preparation. We have get the double stranded DNA. Here it is double stranded DNA whole. We take single DNA cleaved into small fragments. Get adapters. Add the adapters on the both the side. It is A and B. Then denature the DNA. We get single stranded DNA. Then it is the emulsion PCR. This is the
Hello, Gayatri.
yeah
Sorry to
yeah
interrupt you. We have lot of background noise.
yeah
Are you using the fan?
yeah because I'm in a room. It is so sweaty.
It's sitting.
Okay,
Okay.
now it is okay.
Yeah, it is fine now. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, it's not a problem. Fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here we have the sequence with the adapters. This is the beats. This beats is depending on the sequencer. Then we add the DNA with each beats. It will give this. It has the adapter, which is the complementary to the DNA. It will come. It will form the DNA with adapter sequence with the beats. Second one is the bridge PCR, the flow cell which have adapters. In this adapter A or B, which is complementary to the adapters which is present in the flow cell. If you add the DNA fragment into the flow cell, it will bind with the complementary adapter. It will form the it will bind with that. The opposite adapter is same as the primer we can add for the next step. Yeah, you just know this is pyrosequencing and sequence by ligation, and this is sequence by synthesis. Basic workflow of library preparation. If you get the RNA, you convert it into cDNA and you get the DNA, or else you take the DNA as such and fragmented it into small pieces, attach the adapter with using, then do the PCR with primer and DNA polymerase. Put the template into the any of the sequencer. Then sequence the library insert. We get the read alignment on the assembly. Okay, I skip this side because I explaining each and every one. Okay, first we want to take the input DNA with double stranded DNA. We can get whole genome or exome genome or RNA-seq or methylation-seq. These are all the kit we used for get the input DNA sequence. Whole genome sequence, we have 4 exome sequence kit or given. Then I move on to Illumina NGS technology. First it is not the Illumina technology. First it is introduced by Celexa technology in 1998. After 2007, Illumina purchased from the Celexa and it is converted into Illumina technology. Yeah. The concept utilized in the NGS, millions of a small fragmented sequence from an entire genome or a transcriptome or a smaller targeted region in the single run of an instrument, we get the sequencer. Yeah. Here I will explain currently. This is the flow cell which has the adapter. Then there is the DNA with 2 adapters. The DNA adapter is complementary to the adapter in the flow cell. This adapter is complementary to the another adapter. It forms the bridge. DNA holds over the bridge like the shape, so it is called as bridge PCR. Bridge PCR. We put the primer. We get the complementary strand. the complementary strand, we get the two strands. It is reverse strand, one is the forward strand. At the time, we get the clonal copies of all the forward and reverse transcriptase in the cluster. So we have lot of we have here we see the lot of forward and um, reverse stands in the flow cell. Here I explain about synthesis by sequence by synthesis technique. After completion of getting the cluster, we put it into the sequencer. What happens inside the sequencer is, here you assume it is the flow cell. Here it is attached with the adapters. Here we have sequence, then we have the primer. We In that we design we know the adapter sequence. We construct the complementary DNA of primer. Then you add the DNTPs with the radioactive. If T is there, A is attached, we get the we get the A, that is color emulsion as A. We have observed on the optical sensor, we get readout as A. Again is G, we get it as G. Color intensity is mainly approached in the Illumina sequencing. This is the overflow of this Illumina sequencing. We have genomic DNA, shear it and add the adapters. Apply to the flow cell. It will give the clusters of DNA in the flow cell. Keep this flow cell inside the sequencer. Inside the sequencer, sequence by synthesis happens, and we get the multiple polyarray microchips. We get the sequence. Yes, here we can get the de novo assemblies or deletion or insertion. We can get with two types, paired reads or aligned to the reference genome. First, pattern sequence, we do the complementary stand with read 1 and read 2. We get the pattern, or else you can get the DNA against the reference genome, which we already know. From alignment to the reference genome, we get the repetitive sequence. If any doubts or any under clarification, you can see this YouTube. We get the proper identification. Then this is also a representation of sequence by synthesis. Then we move on to the pyro sequencing. Here the main few enzymes and few molecules are involved to get the intensity and the color of the nucleotide. It comes under emulsion PCR. Same procedure is happen until the adapter bind. We take the DNA and ligate it with the adapter, and we take the single stranded DNA. This is the bead which is used in the pyro sequencing. It's called Shapersor beads. In that, in bridge PCR, the flow cell have the adapters, right? Complementary adapters. Like that, this bead have the complementary adapters. The DNA with the adapter which is complementary to the bead will bind with that. And this is the plate we called as picotier plate. These beads are get it into the plate. In that plate, there is light. Light is emerged from that light intensity. We get the nucleotide in which position. How the light is produced is that it is the main thing happen in the pyro sequencing. Here there is a principle. We have the DNA with N, that is, we have ATGC is 4. If DNA with 4, we can add any of the XCTP. It is any A, T, G or C. We added in the presence of DNA polymerase, we can get DNA N plus 4. If it is ATGC, if it is add is G, ATGC plus G, it is DNA 5. It is 4, it is 5. If nucleotide add to the DNA, pyrophosphate is removed. This pyrophosphate is binds with APS. APS is known as adenosine 5-phosphothiorate. In the presence of ATP sulfurase, we get ATP, then sulfate. Then this ATP is bind with the luciferin and oxygen. We get in the presence of luciferase, we get light. It is more important. Then we have get API, PPI, oxyluciferins, and carbon dioxide. Here, light is produced along with the oxyluciferin. If here the slide shows different peaks. The light intensity is measured in the detector in the sorry in the signal image. It is like a graph. So if you add t, if you add sorry if you add t, if it is a, the peak is formed. If nothing, if again you add t, if it is c, it is not formed. If it is g, you can add c. You can add c. There is three g's. G, G, G. We get C, C, C with the high level of peak. High level of peak, so that we get T here. We add, if we add A, or we get A, so that we get T, C, C, A, T, C, A, A. Like that, we get the sequence. Yeah, if you in this ball, we first add ATP, 4 molecule or 2 or 3 molecule. If it is C is present, it will bind, it will shows the peak. If it is not there, if C is not there, the remaining ATP is there. So we remove the ATPs by cyprase enzyme. The ATP is moved to ADP, and the ADP is moved to AMP. So we remove the excess nucleotide from by using cyprase. Next one is ion semiconductor. It detects the chemiluminescence given when a proton is released using ion chip. This is the chip we have. This is the forward stand. This is the template, and this is the formation sequence. If the new nucleotide binds with the previous nucleotide, the proton is removed. The intensity of the proton is measured in the semiconductor sequencing. We can get the sequence. This is also come with the emulsion PCR. There we in pyrosequencing, we use the light intensity. Here you deduct the proton intensity. So we know the sequence. This is the well which is present on the capillary tube. It is very small in size. We add a single ball inside it. This ball contains DNA, primer, and adapters. If DNTPs is add to this bit, the proton is moved. It will form the peak. If it is DATP is 4 times we added. If it is bind, we get 4 times peak. Next one is ion sensitive field electron transmitter. It is the electrolyte dependent. We can ion concentration changes, the transmitter will changes accordingly. Then we get the sequence, the solution which contains a gate channel. In this gate channel, we have a sequence. Then the flow of current between the two electrodes, it will produce the electrolyte H plus. We get it. It is most probably similar to the ion semiconductor sequencing. Last one is on ABI solid sequencing. This is by sequence by ligation. Okay, sequence by ligation. Same procedure. We have DNA and cut the DNA. One specify and most important thing here, ABI solid, is the probe autonomy. The probe which has 8 nucleotides. First two nucleotide are a known nucleotide for us, which contains any of the 4 colors. Totally, this is 16. Totally, this is 16. One color coded with the uh, uh, two or more than combinations. If it is AA, that is CC, GG, TT. Then the C is bind with A and C. Here that is A and C. Yellow is of A and G. Red is A and T. Here we also have um, yellow as C and T. Here you also get T and C as yellow. So we have single color, we have 2 combinations. 2 combination means 4. If if yellow is G, sorry, I explain it correct. CT, here is also CT. Here yellow is AG, here is also AG. There is 4 combinations of the nucleotides which is present for single color. Okay, so we know the color 2 actual bases. We know which is red, green, blue or yellow. Then these are all the universal bases of 4 nucleotide. Last 3 bases.
Hello, Miss Gayatri. We have a question for you.
Yeah.
What is the average size of adapters? Can they interfere with when align it with reference?
Sorry, again, please.
So there is a question from Mr. Garvin.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I can
Yeah.
unmute him.
Yeah, okay.
Hello, Mr. Garvin. You can go ahead with your question.
Yeah. Gayatri, can you, I don't know, like what is the average size of the adapters? Like it's like, I think it's like a Primus. So what will be the size? And then my next question would be like, you add the adapters to the end, I think, and after sequence, I think they would trim it, but by chance, would they be interfering in when you align the sequence with the genome or something? So this is my question.
Maybe it happens. It happens. If comparison between all the sequencing platforms, we compare the accuracy percentage we get. If the percentage is, I can explain it later because I have a comparison slide. Most probably 99%. In the 99% accuracy, we didn't have the adapters because we get the here I can explain with a peak, I think so. Here we get triple C. It has only with the nucleotide which is present in the sequence, not with the adapters, because the adapters are bind with the already presented adapters present in the bead or the bridge. We only sequence the remaining sequences. Yeah, in Illumina you have no. This is placed in the flow cell. Yeah, okay. This is we get the flow cell. We get this only. Not it will go with this adapter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
adapter sizes depends on the platforms. If Illumina sequencing, we have different versions, right? If you have HiSeq 2500, HiSeq 2000, depends on the adapter.
So they design the adapters and everything for you. So you give just the sequence. So they do all the adapter stuff, all these things for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Are you clear?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Ms. Gayatri, also, Ms. Divya Shri, you want to add some more points with your question?
No, I just answered the question. Somebody said usually the adapter sizes are like 120 base pairs.
Okay.
And you do like it does interfere sometimes, as she said. And when and that's why you are always trimming it when you do the data analysis.
Okay.
So when you trim it, so still you get some contamination or something, is it? Or like you use some tools to trim it, is it?
So that is done in silico, right? You use the
Yeah, okay.
trimming unit to trim all
Mhm.
those adapter
Mhm.
sequences.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I go ahead?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah, I stopped here. I think so. These three nucleotides are the universal basis with four nucleotide similar nucleotides. This is the universal base with the fluorescent dye. If it is A, it is color or so. Adapter probe is only five nucleotide long. It is cleaved in each cycle. I will explain that. Yeah, this is emulsion plate. We have a DNA with the adapter, and this is a sequence. The primer is bind. This is the probe which has 8 nucleotide. This to A and T, we already know it is in red color. It is bind with that. A and T, this is universal, and these three are labeled with if fluorescent as red, we can get it as red color. It is maybe it is AA or maybe it is AT or else maybe it is AT or else GC. Okay. The ligation chemical process have 5 steps. First step is primer binds to the template strand, and the second one is hybridization and ligation with the probe. Then is a fluorescence measured. Then dye-ended nucleotide is cleaved. This is cleaved. Then this process has happened for 5 times in each primer offset to get the one base. Okay, one base we do for 5 times. Okay, if you add the next base, what it is happen? First, you want to see it clearly because it is go ahead from this is n, we get n minus 1. Okay, this is first one primer. It is add with the A and T. The Z last three nucleotide is removed. It is measured as red. Again, the template is again the probe is coming with the blue color, which has TT with 8 nucleotide. It is bind with last 3 of the universal bases. It will bind with that. You can see it. It will move left. Um, you can get this. First, it is happens universal sequence, right? Is N. You have template sequence. It is bind with this. First time it was bind. The blue color is removed. Next one is the 4 colors they mentioned. Next is blue. It is bind with next 3 nucleotide. Last 3 is mood, and third one is bind with the last 3. Last 3 fluorescent is removed. Then you get the slide like this because there is n minus 1. The primer is go back to get the full sequence. The primer is move from here to here, so that n minus 1, n minus 2, up to n minus 4. This is for 5 times. I will told already the for single DNA template it happens in 5 times until n minus 4. So from first this is an example to get the sequence. The light intensity is come as blue, green, green, blue, yellow, red, blue, yellow, yellow. Each of the color is represented by 4 nucleotides. So we didn't know um, what is the what is the nucleotide which is present in that position. So we already know the first base because we only take to know the actual bases. So we know the first base. From first base, we can link with the colors. First letter is A. Second, we can go with A. With second letter is A. You can join with A. It is C. It's C. Last letter is C. You can bind with next color with C. Then it is A. You can get it with A. Last letter is A. You can get with A. Then you get the link. You get the sequence. From this is ANA, this is AC, this is CA, AA, AG, CG, CT, and TC. You can get the first letter. You can get the first letters A, C, A, G, C, C, T, C. Now you get the sequence of a first template. If you know A is immediately, it decodes the second basis. The main advantage in the ABI to get the error and the two polymorphism. One is of you can identify the real SNPs, and next one is to get the miscall. What is happening? This is our expected sequence. If we get this sequence, you can know if there is a single two difference only happens. Two difference means there is a single nucleotide only replaced because or changed, mismatched. If the next color is also changed only, you know which place the sequence is mismatched. In direct miscall, we can see there is single color is changed, but remaining all the colors are same, but the expected sequence is not be observed. So we can get the sequence and refer with the reference sequence. We can get the real SNP or missequencing error. Here I will come to the comparison of all the NGS platforms from DNA sequencing, genome sequencing, as well as the next generation sequencing, also SMRT. This is now emerging. Ion torrent pyrosequencing and Illumina and ABI solid or the next generation sequencing. Sanger sequencing is a DNA sequencing. Most probably we use Illumina. Why we use the Illumina? The major concept we want to know the advantage and disadvantages of all the platforms. Here Illumina, we have the high sequence heal depending on the sequence model. Here the error rate is very low, and we get errorless because it is get 98%. The accuracy in pyrosequencing is 9.9%. We can get the long read fast, but the runs are expensive and it has a homopolymer errors. So that all the researchers will go with the Illumina. Thank you. I can continue my slides on next session.
Okay. So thank you so much, Ms. Gayatri. So guys, do you have any question so far? So if you have a question, you can ask us now.
Only 1 second, please. One second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, tell me.
there is one doubt from Mr. Garvin that we're going to cover chip sequence in the next session.
I try to cover because the formats and all it takes to another 50 slides. I
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
30 to 40 slides. I try to cover.
Okay, so maybe you can give a small idea that what are you going to cover in the next session. So
Okay. Here in the slides also it will be there. I will most probably cover the applications of NGS next session. Then quality control process I will discuss in the format of FASTA and FASTQC.
okay.
And little more I will add it up in the slide.
Mm,
I think I can add SAM BAM tools,
okay,
and I can do RNA seq and chip sequencing.
okay. And
Yeah.
someone also added the one more request that can you
Oh.
please explain amplicon sequencing? I don't know whether it's already you covered it. It's
No, I'm not covered. I
okay.
try to cover because this is take us to time. I think so.
Okay, so maybe in the next session you can cover both chip sequence and amplicon sequence.
Okay,
So
fine. I
is it
try
going
to
to be
cover.
complete theory or you're going to have some demo?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because I'm not having that much facilities here to
Okay,
do demo.
okay,
I think I cover only theory.
okay, okay, okay. So no problem. So guys, do
Yeah.
you have any question? I think there are no questions, but I really appreciate your efforts being a MTech first year student, and you gave a lecture for all the high profile people. So it was really appreciable and it's really good. Thank you so much, Gayatri.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
giving me the opportunity
yeah.
to lead my lecture. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Okay,
Yeah.
and one more announce for the participants. So we have a session tomorrow with co-immunoprecipitation and from the LL Biotechnology team. So we'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so thank you everyone, and thank you so much, Miss Gayatri.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.